Hi, welcome back. This is our third segment of Midday Meditation and Yoga. My name is Rebecca Kegler. This is Sarah Olson. We are with Recreational Sports and Fitness Services, and we're obviously at Breslin, which is very exciting. But today, this segment, we're going to talk about posture and how it can help you actually feel better just by standing taller. But first, we're going to do just a little bit of movement to kind of get us moving here. It's a series called Moonflowers and Sunflowers, all right? So you're going to stand on your mat with a little bit wider stance, all right? You're going to take those arms way up. All right, you're going to come down to a very wide squat. If you ever take dance lessons, you probably recognize this as jazz second, all right? So then we're going to breathe up. We're going to sweep all the way down to the floor. This is our sunflowers as we toss those sunflowers up. And then we come to moonflowers, up, and sunflowers. All right, keep this moving. So exhale and inhale, exhale and inhale. Let's go a couple of more times. Each of us moving at our own pacing because we each have our own internal rhythm as to the speed that this feels good at. So keep this going one or two more times, focusing on connecting your breathing and your moving. All right, and then finish the one you're on. And let's take our hands and walk ourselves back to heart center. All right, so we're going to talk about posture. I don't know about you, but I'm sure you have, as we all have. You've been in the line at the grocery store, and you're number 22 in line. And you take this as the response. And that's what it feels like. But we want to change that a little bit. So we're going to take ourselves up nice and tall. We're going to talk about tall posture. So I want you to think about a crown on top of your head. So whether you follow Meghan Markle, whether you follow Game of Thrones, or whatever royalty you might think of, I want you to imagine that crown on top of your head. Because how you move with a crown on top of your head, you would pull yourself up very tall because you certainly wouldn't want that crown to fall off as you're walking. It would be very embarrassing in front of your loyal subjects. So the second part of this, our shoulders. Because we have a lot of this in our day, sometimes a lot of this in our day, our shoulders are pulled forward. So we want to open those up and set those down. Now I'm not clenching the muscles of my upper back in order to do this. I'm not tightening those muscles up. I just want to place those shoulders a little wider. That actually helps with our breathing, which we talked about in another segment. The next aspect is actually our lower back. So I want you to think about the bottom of your tailbone. I want you to try to point it down toward the floor just another quarter inch. You'll probably feel like the lower back is flattening it just a little bit. That's exactly what we want. But we're not over-exaggerating so that it looks like this. All right? That doesn't help our posture either. So the other aspect is how our feet are holding us up. And if you're comfortable, I want you to close your eyes because I want you to focus and feel this rather than looking at your feet. All right, so with your eyes closed, we have a right and left foot, and we're working to balance the weight distribution between those 2 feet. So both feet, and you can shift a little bit if you need to feel like how your right and your left are holding you up. Back to front, the heel as well as the ball of the foot. All right, we have a tendency to sit back in our heels, so we're going to be just a little bit more neutral so that both the ball of the foot and the toes and the heel all feel like they're roughly with even contact with the floor. Now the third plane of the foot, inside and outside, a little more challenging to figure out. The outside is your pinky toe side, or the blade of your foot if you take martial arts. The inside would be the arch of your foot. Now normally we kind of roll toward the outside of the foot. So I want you to think about balancing your feet toward the middle underneath your shoelaces. All right, so open your eyes. Here we go. Crown on top of our heads. Shoulders opened, but not tight upper back. Tailbone ever so slightly pointing toward the floor. And you may find that your knees ever so slightly bent. That's fine. That's perfect. Rebalancing your feet, left and right, back and front, inside and outside. All right, so we're going to use that tall posture to practice on a standing balance called tree pose, and you'll recognize this one. All right, so as you shift your weight, don't let that other hip sink. Don't let it sink. All right, this is not the grocery line. All right, and you can take your foot off the floor. You can keep it very low for balance, or you can take it up as what you're comfortable with. We're going to take our hands above our head and then open those branches. And if you feel wobbly, just pull up with that crown on top of your head. We're going to take our hands back to heart center. We're going to take that toe on the floor. We're going to do one more balance on this side called shooting stars. All right? So reach tall and then lift that toe off the floor if you can. And just reach. Big strong arms reaching for the corners of the room. Take that foot back on the floor, hands to heart center, and then both feet on the floor. And let's rebalance. So crown on top of our head, shoulders down and open, and we can keep our hands to heart center or open them if we wish. Tailbone ever so slightly pointed toward the floor. Balancing our feet left and right, front and back, inside and outside. All right, so we're going to shift to the other foot. Keep that tall posture. All right, taking our hands to heart center, taking that foot off the floor. All right, pull tall if you feel wobbly. Taking those hands tall. And opening those arms to open branches. Taking our hands to heart center. Let's take that toe on the floor as we go to our shooting stars. All right, pull up tall and take that foot off the floor, stretching those arms. Actually stretching that toe really, really strong. Setting that foot back on the floor, taking our hands to heart center, and then back to center. All right, so we've been in position, so let's do just a couple of more or so of the moonflowers and sunflowers. We'll stand up. All right, take a deep breath in. Jazz second. Moonflowers. Exhale. Sunflowers. Moonflowers. Again, reaching, moving at our own pace. Remember that when we do this wide squat with the knees, wherever our toes are pointed, our knees need to go the same direction. Finishing up the one you're on. All right, taking our hands to heart center, let's take ourselves back. So, again, let's pretend our hands are on that grocery cart. And you can secretly practice your yoga next time you're stuck in line at the grocery store. All right, crown on top of our heads, shoulders open, tailbone pointing toward the floor, rebalancing our feet left and right, back and front, inside and outside. We want to take our hands to heart center. Let's try one more balance. So let's take our arms wide. All right, sometimes this is called one-legged seated sage. And remember, we're going to pull up tall as we shift our weight. We're going to take one foot, just cross it over the other knee. And then we're just going to bend that knee down just a little bit. Then take a breath as we bring ourselves to heart center. Let's try that once on the other side, all right? Centered, then shift. Don't forget that crown on top of our heads to help us balance. Pick that foot up. Sit down into that one-legged seated chair. Bring that foot up, both of our feet back to heart center. All right, take a deep breath. We're just gonna swan dive down to forward fold. We're just gonna shake those shoulders out gently. Then we're gonna sweep those arms wide and come all the way back up. And heart center. Thank you for joining us for another segment of our midday yoga and meditation. My name is Rebecca. This is Sarah. This has been wonderful to join you today and pull tall so that you have better fitness level, better health, and you're a better version of you. Thank you for joining us. Bye.
Thank you for joining us today in the beautiful Jack Breslin Student Event Center. Please check out the many programs and services offered by the department. Please join us during the year as we present the Midday Meditation and Yoga at other iconic campus locations. I would like to share a little history about the Recreational Sports and Fitness Department on campus. The Recreational Sports and Fitness Services Department, formerly known as Intramural Sports, currently has 4 facilities on campus, including IM Circle, IM East, IM West, and Dim Hall, and many other additional fields. The Intramural Sports Program was founded to support World War II veterans returning from the war that wanted to maintain their physical regimen in a competitive atmosphere, allowing them to cultivate their minds and their bodies. The department's first director, Dr. Frank Beeman, set the stage for what would become the blueprint for exceptional delivery of intramural sports programming, in addition to training future intramural sports directors through their exemplary master's degree program in intramural sports. The partnership between President John Hanna and Athletic Director Biggie Munn forged a gateway to what would become the mantra of intramural sports, that all students should educate their minds and build their bodies through fitness and recreational program and be afforded the opportunities to do so. Through the years, the department's programming has reflected significant societal world events such as Title IX and the Equal Rights Amendment, and programming was morphed to meet the needs of a constantly changing demographic. As the programming needs of people changed to utilize the facility, so did the offerings of programmings and services, which is where we find ourselves today, offering such programs as meditation and yoga.